Hello and welcome to the show. I'm gonna call this Genius But Slow, which you already saw if you read the title. And let's introduce the idea. The idea is quite dumb. There's not a lot to say about it because it's just a dumb, silly idea I had. But I think it's hilarious, and we'll see what happens to it over the upcoming weeks. So, what happened is I started working last week, and at the moment, for the next 3 months, I'm working in a headquarters quite far away, which means I spend 3 hours a day in a car. And I don't know if you're able to hear it or not. This is sort of my test recording as well as my first recording, because I'm too lazy to do them separately. You might be able to hear that I am actually in a car. Now, how this started, I started noticing in the car that whenever I just turned my brain off a little, I started talking to myself. I said things to myself, I started imagining conversations, and without thinking really, the words kind of started to spill out, as they are right now. I am concentrating on the road, right? That is always going to be my main priority, so sometimes there will be a longer or there might be a silence for a second, which I hopefully will be cutting out in post. But that might happen because always I will prioritize what happens on the road. I'm paying attention to that. And basically, for the rest of it, my mind is on 0% usage at the moment, which means I can just talk about things and it's going to be raw, it's going to be uncensored, really. Well, it'll be censored a little bit because, you know, it's the internet after all. But yeah, it's going to be that kind of podcast sort of related thing. Now, let me explain the name for a second, because I've noticed people in the past got confused about the name. I don't know how. Don't look at me. I don't know how that has ever happened. But anyway, Genius But Slow. Genius But Slow has been a slogan of mine for quite some time at this point, because basically I am a genius, right? I'm super smart. I could be the next Elon Musk, basically. But I'm always just too slow with those genius ideas. I have them. I have amazing ideas. But I'm always just too slow with them. Someone has always the idea before I do. Just before anyone starts commenting or blogging or, whatever you're gonna do. That is sarcasm, by the way. I'm so dumb. You should be able to tell. Like, especially listen to a couple of these episodes, and you'll be able to tell that I'm actually not that smart. I'm recording a podcast in a car. Like, how smart do we have to be for that? But I thought, you know what? I could just talk while driving, and it's what I do anyway. And why not record it, right? So that's a bit what happened there. The topics of this podcast they will sort of vary. There'll be all kinds of things. I'm always fascinated by alien topics in podcasts, so that'll definitely come up, and all kinds of things. Let me explain actually in terms of swearing. And let me segue into the first story with that. I try to swear less, and I don't think in this sort of podcasty thing I'm going to swear at all. I'm not planning to. I'm gonna swear as little as I can. I'm probably gonna cut it out if I do. But story behind that actually. I'm trying to swear less, and so is my buddy Sinatra, which you might know from the stream sometimes. By the way, if you're completely new, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but come join us at twitch.tv/Corba.world. We have loads of fun there. mainly on the Minecraft server, but it's always games with the viewers, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, Sinatra. Me and Sinatra are going to be taking a trip in September. If you don't know already, I have a huge amount of love for England, and I would like to live there as well. And me and Sinatra are taking a trip in September to England. But, well, we have to pay for it, don't we? That is basically the entire thing. I'm telling you already, sometimes I'll be distracted by the road and I'll just completely lose train of thought. So they are going to be a little bit chaotic, the stories. But main thing is, me and Sinatra are gonna be taking a trip to England, and we both want to swear less. So I said, like, well, let's make it interesting, right? Let's make it interesting, and let's actually put a sort of bet on it. Every time that he swears, I put a euro. Every time he swears, he puts a euro into my basket, basically, like my virtual basket. And he will pay a euro towards my ticket to go to England. And every time I swear, I will pay a euro towards his voyage to England in September. At this point, by the way, the live streams on Twitch do count. So if he catches me live, calm down. If he catches me live on Twitch swearing, then that counts. He can actually write down that I swore, but he has to say so. Every time you catch the other person swearing, you have to immediately, well, in a decent amount of time, warn the person, like, hey, you just swore, I'm writing it down. So that's kind of how that works. Most sort of swear words count. We're going by the fact that if you can't say it on TV, then it's a swear word sort of thing. It's very much up for discussion. We've already had some discussions about it. I think abbreviations are allowed, so it's pretty much like the way, in case some people of you are old players of the Minecraft server, it's basically those rules from on the Minecraft server. You can't swear, but you can say WTF or TF, that sort of stuff. So swearing in chat is also not allowed, just to clarify. So yeah, that's about it. It doesn't count for recordings. That is one of the things. It doesn't count for, like, he can't go back in my live streams and start searching for swears. He can't do that. It has to be live. He has to catch me in the act, because otherwise he can't tell me that he found it, right? And there we go, we're back on the road. So that is the entire swearing thing, and that is why I can assure you for this genius but slow podcast that swearing will be at a minimal, because we only just started the challenge. It'll be a bit weird if I were to give up already. I think the deadline for the entire swearing bet is going till March 1st. So yeah, I just completely ignored the cyclist and I didn't let him cross. My bad, sorry buddy. As you can tell, I talk a lot to myself in the car. Whenever there's no one in my car, I love it. I love driving in that sense, where it's the only true time that I know I'm truly alone. So I can just put music on, I can be singing to it. I can do that at home, and I do that at home, but it feels different because the anxiety is always there. Like my back is always kind of tensed up because I know someone could be passing in the hall and hearing me, or could just walk in and come ask me something or whatever. I just don't like it. So in the car, that is the moment I'm truly alone, and you should hear me wailing to songs, honest to God. it's awful. Sometimes I just look over to a car that is parked beside me, and they just look back at me, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, sir, did you see me do that thing that I just did? Yeah, did you? Okay, sorry. Can I drive off now? Is that river available for me to drive into? Yeah, so that's awful. But any other time, like, it's quite dark still. By the way, it's 7:30 a.m. I left at 7. So yeah, it's just, no one can really see me. I think. Sometimes you notice that that you can tell who's driving behind you in the back mirror. You can actually see a face there. But that's only when you're parked. That is not, like right now, for example, there is someone behind me, kind of getting bothered because we're not driving the speed limit. But that's not me. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted every time. But I can't see who's driving behind me. I just can see a set of headlights, and that's it. So that is why I feel so safe. Like, except if there's a refugee in my boot, I think I should be fine. I think it's all good right now. And I can just yell as loudly as I want and not a soul will hear. Except maybe that cyclist I'm about to pass. But no one will hear. Oh, that's amazing. So that is why I'm doing the podcast here. Because I can just say whatever. I can imagine, and I've done this before. Whenever my brother is like talking loudly on Discord, or he's doing a Twitch stream and he's saying stuff, whenever I pass in the hallway, I sometimes hear a glimpse of it, and I'm like, oh, what was he saying? And I just stay at the door for a second and just listen what he's saying. And knowing myself, I just give myself anxiety that way, because if I'm like that, someone in my family has to be like that too, right? I gotta have gotten it from that curiosity from somewhere, right? I'm not special, am I? Don't answer that, please. Please be nice in the comments. Yeah, so since I do that, other people could do that, and yeah, I might bring up sensitive topics that I don't really want to bring up, but my brain just says like, hey, let's talk about this. And now I can be absolutely sure no one's listening. And that is why I will upload it on a YouTube channel. I have so many regrets. I am so dumb, actually. Oh my days. No, it's funny. We'll see what happens. It's literally just a chaotic podcast. Because I speak to myself and I was like, that's interesting. Let's record it and see if other people think it's as interesting as I think it is. Let me just see where the GPS is leading me today. This way. Cool. This is, by the way, also this is the third week that I'm working, and the third week that I'm using this car, because I just recently got this car. I've never had my own car before. So that is quite exciting, and I've been doing miles in this car, by the way. And I know climate and stuff, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm really not. My first day, jeez, I'm going fast. My first day, they sent me to a chemical plant in the Antwerp harbor. Now, it turned out that I didn't need to be there. My first week was supposed to be a training week in the headquarters of the company that I'll be working for the next 3 months. Hold on. Yeah, the first week was meant to be at the headquarters of the place that I'm going to be working at for the next 3 months. So I was at the wrong place, and by the way, the headquarters are 1 hour and 30 minutes away from my house, right? My parents' house. I drove an hour and 20-ish minutes to the place they sent me. That appeared to be wrong. And then from there, I had to go to the headquarters, which were, again, far, far away. But I insisted to, because it was not the boss that called, well, my boss at the project I'm on right now, it was not her that directly called me to tell me. So I insisted, like, hey, give me your number, I want to call her, and I want to tell her that I apologize, of course, it's not my fault, but I apologize that I'm late. I'm leaving now, I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm gonna drive safe, right? That is what I wanted to tell her directly. I knew she already knew that. The company that I actually work for and that sent me to this company had already apologized, of course, but I wanted it to come from me, and I wanted to hear her, and I wanted to tell her that I was leaving now, basically. So I insisted, I wanted her number. They gave me it. I called her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's just a mistake. It can happen. Just drive safe and come here. Come to the headquarters. You'll be fine, right? It'll be fine." And then she said, like, "Oh yeah, this afternoon, you're probably gonna have to go to this place, which is close to my home. You'll have to go to that place to go and get your laptop, and then you come back to the headquarters, and then you set yourself up and all that sort of stuff." And I'm thinking, right, I'm gonna drive about 2 hours to the headquarters to then basically drive back home, and then from home drive back to the headquarters to set up my freaking laptop to then, I mean, then there would only be an hour left in the day. I would have spent all my day in the car. So I said to her, like, "Hey, can't I go and get the laptop first and then come to the headquarters?" Because, like, I was in the Antwerp harbor, but it would have, I could have put it on my way to go get the laptop, right? It was, because you could basically see it as my home is like right in between the headquarters and the place that I was sent at. So I went to get the laptop and then drove all the way to the headquarters. I mean, I was living, to be honest. I wasn't too worried. Back in the day, I would have been so anxious and so nervous the whole time, thinking like, "Oh, it's my first day and I'm gonna be late." No, I wasn't really, because it wasn't my fault. So I've been really trying to leave things behind that aren't my fault. If it's not my fault, then I can't do anything about it. If I can't do anything about it, it's no point to stress about it. So that is what I was kind of thinking. I was like, you know what, I'm getting paid to sit in a car, so I'm just gonna sit in the car, you know? I'm just gonna chill in the car, just listen to music, gonna have that free space that I was just talking about, you know? Just that free space to just sing to music without anyone knowing about it. I mean, I was nervous because I have my driver's license for a long time now, but I haven't really driven that far yet, because now my job is quite far away, but I've never used my car to drive to my job. Only like summer job once, but I didn't have that much experience on the open road with my car, so it was an entirely different experience. If you're from America, you don't really understand that, but Europe is a lot more dense. Well, not in that sense. The Americans are quite more dense than Europe is, but in terms of population and buildings and roads, the land is quite dense. Okay. So I was a bit nervous about that, but I tried to let it go. I tried to just relax and drive to work calmly. Went to get the laptop, went to the headquarters. I got like, I think I still got there before noon. Yeah, I think so. So they just gave me a tour of the building, kind of, on my first day. They gave me a tour of the building, and then it was lunch, so we all just went to lunch. I didn't know anyone yet. I was introduced to everyone, but I forgot their names like that. They were gone. I did not remember any freaking name. So I went to sit with them in the cafeteria, and I was having my own lunch that I packed myself. I didn't let my mom make them because I was a big boy now. So I was eating my lunch, and then after lunch, they just said like, okay, just here's your office. Here's the office that you're going to be working in. This woman is really sick, so you can just use her desk for now. It's like basically I have a private room. It's a glass wall, so the people in the office like right next to me, they can constantly see me, but I basically have my own office, so I'm like, yeah, let's go. This is cool. Sorry, woman, that's sick, but yeah. So that was, pretty awesome. I can't lie. And then the rest of the afternoon was like, oh yeah, just set up your PC, just look at Outlook, right? Outlook, your email. You can just look at that, just set it up a little bit, just the way that you prefer, right? So I'm just setting up the laptop, and that is it. Oh yeah, the internet was not working at first, so I fixed that, and I immediately, I opened Outlook, the business email and stuff, and I immediately made some folders so I can just keep my mails organized. I learned in a company, if you get a company email, you just immediately make a couple folders. One of my standard ones is just not relevant. And in that, I just put so much emails in there that are just not relevant for me, right? Because I'm going to be here for 3 months, so it's sort of temporary. So I don't need to know everything. So everything that is just a spam email that went to the entire company that is just not for me, I just put in there. Like, that folder gets filled up real quick, by the way. That sort of folder, a dealt with folder, because at the start you get a lot of emails like, oh, hey, can you quickly do this? And then, oh, it's done. Well, put that email away, put that email in a folder that says dealt with. You can just find it back. If anyone, for some reason, would like to know if you went to the toilet or not, just you can always just find that email back and dealt with, because you dealt with it. And that just keeps your inbox completely clean. Every single new email, you just see it, because like, instead of one email, there's now 2 emails. So you can instantly see if you get a new email. Well, because it's unread as well, but everything you're still dealing with is right there. So you just never lose track of anything. It's a great system. I'm explaining an email system to you guys now. Like, this is what this podcast has become. This is why this is such a silly and dumb idea. And this is why I love it. I love it to bits, because it's just, anything can happen. Right, I'll tell you this. The other day, and maybe that's for a different episode of this, but the other day, I didn't have this microphone yet, right? This is the first time I have the microphone. I really hope you can hear it, because otherwise this entire episode is trash, and I can't use it. But the other day, I tested it out a couple times, right? Would I be able to talk while driving without getting too much interruptions, right? The road comes first, but if I'm constantly going like, or like just fall silent, no one, like, that is going to be annoying. That is going to be really annoying to edit as well. So I was just testing it out, how would it work? And yes, like, if you're thinking ahead a little bit, then you know what's coming next. Basically, I was just talking like this in a car without a microphone, which means I was a crazy person for 2 times at least. So for 2 times, I sat in a car and I was talking to myself the whole time the whole trip to work, and it was just that. I brought up some interesting subjects, right? Not gonna lie. The first time that I did it, why is everyone going away? The first time that I did it, I pretended it was the second episode because I didn't want to do an introduction. I didn't want to do the introduction of Genius Bit Slow, what it means, all that sort of stuff. Because the first episode now, right, none of this was practiced. None of this was decided ahead of time. Oh days. None of this was decided ahead of time. All these subjects are just coming to mind as I'm speaking. So that's an interesting thing. And during my practice runs, I was of course recording the second episode because the first one would be Genius But Slow. My second trial run, that was it. That was the one that I wanted to talk about. That, well, I didn't really want to talk about, but we're on it anyway. The second time was when I was driving home. So at night, I was tired, so everything was kind of coming out, and there was a certain subject that had been on my mind since the past day, like since the previous day, because I spoke about it to someone. It was about LinkedIn, really, but it got really, really personal, like about my ex-girlfriend and all that sort of stuff. And I was telling the entire story of my ex-girlfriend on this podcast. I'm not going to do it now. We'll keep that to another episode. But oh my days, I got really personal, and I was like, well, I hope she doesn't find this recording. And then I realized, oh wait, I'm not recording. So I'm just talking to myself, and it was just a little therapy session that I had. Like I was just sitting there, talking to myself, thinking, wow, I really let it go now. And just gonna check, like, is everything still recording? I think it is. I'm not sure how this entirely works, but I'm just letting it be, right? I'm just letting the recording be. But anyway, I think that is a little bit the things that I wanted to say today. Welcome to Genius But Slow. Welcome to the show. We are going to do this every once in a while because, well, I'm bored in the car, right? Because I'm bored in the car, you might get a lot of this content. At the same time, if it's just really, really bad content, you might get less and less of it. But we'll see what happens, because there is a lot of stuff that I need to edit for it. I need to edit all of those ahs and silences out. Well, I'm talking as if you know what I'm talking about, but if I did my job well, then those are edited out, so you won't really know what I'm talking about, would you know? Yeah, it's whatever. Let's see if I can murder this cyclist. I could most definitely murder him, but let's not do it today. There you go. So yeah, I got a lot of work still to do, but I hope, because this is such a silly idea that just has me excited, that I'm probably gonna be doing it. I'm probably gonna be doing the work, you know me. If it's a silly, dumb idea, then I'm gonna be doing it. Because I has to. Right, so I'm gonna end the episode there, because I think that was enough rambling for a day. I really hope it was not too chaotic for you guys. I really hope the sound quality was okay, because if it's not, I might still upload it. If it's like mediocre, I might still upload it. But you guys are used to better quality from me. So if it's not good quality, I will be sending it back, and I will be getting a different microphone, which is probably going to be like 3 times as expensive. But I just feel this idea, right? I feel it in my bones. So that's what's gonna happen. I hope to see you all during the streams. I'll be streaming, well, I want to say a day now, but there's absolutely no use, because I don't know when this is gonna go up. This is recorded on a Monday, by the way. No, on a Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh my days, it's Tuesday.
Hey folks, it's editor Matt from the future here. It does look like the recording cut short for some odd reason. I'm not really entirely sure why, but I do hope you enjoyed. I was ending the entire thing anyway. So we are going to end the episode here. Thank you if you listened this far. That's pretty amazing. You listened to my ramblings for this long. That is... I mean, maybe you should talk to someone. Anyway, thanks for listening. The quality didn't end up to be that great, but I think I'm gonna try a couple before deciding on whether or not I'm gonna send the microphone back or not. Please let me know in the comments if you like it, if the quality bothers you, because obviously it's not this microphone, but this microphone doesn't fit in my car. I did end up not really editing anything out, the silences or the pauses or the thinking. I didn't end up editing that out because I felt like it was more raw. Plus, I don't really have that much time to edit these days. So I do hope I kill two birds with one stone that way. Thanks for listening, guys. This has been Genius But Slow, episode 1. Booba.